Have you ever given someone amazing advice but couldn't follow that advice yourself? Sounds familiar, right? Why we are giving amazing advice for others while making terrible decisions in our own life? Did you know that this isn't something random? There's actually a scientific name for this, and this is called Solomon Paradox. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, I'm gonna dive into one of the most interesting and fascinating discoveries in psychology, and that is called the Solomon Paradox. After that, I'm gonna give you the philosophy behind this paradox, and at the end, I'm gonna give you 2 actionable steps on how you can actually overcome this when it shows up in your life. So with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. Solomon Paradox is named after King Solomon, which, according to ancient history, he was a guy who was known for his incredible wisdom when solving other people's problems. But the twist is that despite being wise for others, he struggled in his own personal life, making terrible decisions when it came to his relationship and family. So psychologists discovered that this isn't just a historical history, it's a mental pattern that many of us experience in our day-to-day life. It's a tendency to give brilliant and rational advice for others while making emotional and irrational decisions in our own life. So that gap between how we think for others and how we think for ourselves is what scientists call Solomon Paradox. Now the question becomes that why does this happen? Well, the reason for that is because when we look at someone else's situation, we see it from a distance and we are calm, we are so objective and rational. But when it comes to our own lives, we see we are so close to it. So we get emotional and we feel ego, embarrassment, doubt. So when we get emotional, when emotions comes into play, so that emotion blocks our ability to think clearly. So when we cannot think clearly, it's for sure that we are not going to make the better decision. So that's why we make terrible decisions when it comes to our own lives. Now, just a reminder before I jump into the solutions, if you have been enjoying this video so far, make sure to click the subscribe button. And with that being said, let's get into the solution. So here is 2 practical steps on how we can overcome this paradox when it shows up in our own life. So the first step is to talk to yourself as if you are talking to your best friend or to your son. When facing a hard decision, ask yourself that what advice would you give your best friend or your son if your best friend had faced this situation? That gives you the ability to think rationally, not emotionally. And the second step is to write it down. Write your thoughts on your notebook and write it in details, and that gives you the ability to think clearly. So when you think clear, it's 100% chance that you're going to make better decision. So that was the Solomon Paradox, my friend. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've been enjoying this video, so make sure to hit the subscribe button, share it and like it, comment it. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.